representing TooMedToo. This is part 2 of my Disney news, backlash, and commentary. Handled the news in the first part, and this part is going to be backlash and commentary. I have never seen Game of Thrones. I know many people will be surprised. I was going to start watching it a year or two ago, and they announced they had a end game in plan, an ending season, so I just figured I'd wait until then. But I guess I'm going to have to put that on my list to watch right after I finish the Clone Wars. So I was excited without ever watching an episode, just because I know of the hype that goes with Game of Thrones and how people I know that are infatuated with the show and always try and get me to watch it and can't believe I haven't watched it yet. So I thought this would be a great thing for Lucasfilms to bring in people of this caliber. And then I started hearing that it wasn't a good thing because they're sexist and racist. Not following the show, I wasn't too up on, how much it really is. It was kind of hard for me to find a lot of information, except for the fact that they don't have many lead females, and the ones they do don't get as much screen time as the men. They don't have many non-white actors and actresses. If they do, they're not lead, don't get a lot of screen time. In the aspect of Game of Thrones, that will be addressed at the end. Everything's going to be tied up in a nice little bow. When it comes to Lucasfilms and Star Wars, everyone has known that who the directors are, who the writers are. I'm not sure why it was such a big surprise or why it's such a big thing now, except for the fact it's a way for people to put fuel on the fire for the Game of Thrones hiring. When Lucasfilms was bought by Disney, Kathleen Kennedy was put in charge. The first thing she did was make sure there was more diversity when it comes to the people in charge of Lucasfilms. And there was an article written in the New York Times titled "The Women Who Run the Star Wars Universe" on December 22nd, 2017. Basically praises Lucasfilms. A couple of excerpts I'm going to read for you. Today, the Lucasfilm Story Group is a diverse outliner in Hollywood. 5 of its members are people of color, and the team includes 4 women and 7 men. This is a rarity in 2017. There are women account for 13%, and minorities represent 5% of all writers working in the top grossing films. In addition to maintaining the continuity of Star Wars universe, they aim to increase its diversity. This goal has sometimes led to the struggles over their female characters. The University of Southern California's Signal Analysis and Interpretation Lab found that women spoke 6.3% of dialogue in A New Hope. In contrast, women accounted for 27.8% of all dialogue in The Force Awakens. Even more promising, in Rogue One, non-white characters accounted for 44.7% of all dialogue. While The Force Awakens was peak for the franchise, it is comparable to what the team found after analyzing more than 1,000 popular film scripts from the last several decades. While writing The Last Jedi, Rian Johnson moved to San Francisco to be closer to the movie group. And that led to more diverse characters, including Rose Tico, who was played by Kelly Marie Tran, and she's the first Asian American woman to enter the Star Wars saga. Living in New York, I have the chance and have had the chance to meet a diverse bunch of people. Many work in the film and television industry, and they reiterated to me what that article said at the end, about women and minorities not being up to par when it comes to roles and lines and screen time as white male counterparts. I'm not saying it's right. I believe there needs to be more diversity. Sexism and racism are wrong. I would personally like to see more women on TV and in movies. My biggest problem is the fact that people aren't just coming out and saying, we need change, we need diversity. It's sexism and racism, which calling out an individual or group like that without really knowing, and it's the industry standard, is wrong. I've also heard it go to way extreme measures of racism and sexism, that go into serious, extreme socio-political views and outlets, which really don't have anything to do with the fact that we need to get some more guys in there that aren't white. We need to get some more girls in there. I don't know why. Maybe I'm just being defensive because it came out at Star Wars and I'm a Star Wars fan. The whole industry as a group that needs to have change done. Taking one section, one little part, one aspect isn't going to change anything. As a whole, people need to start making demands and following through with things so that they'll happen. I was actually prepared to do a part 3 on this, but was advised not to by certain people because claim that I appear to be apathetic when I'm not. When I come around with my views, they seem harsher than they really are. I was also trying to find a little segment or a little clip showing about diversity, and it's really hard to do because now everyone has a point and goes to the extreme to try and prove it, whether or not they're right or not. So I actually did find this clip. I think is great because it shows different sides actually having dialogue and joking with each other. It's from real time, which can sometimes be serious and have some screaming and fighting going on there. It's also 5 or 6 years old, which I think shows the difference and how our society has come just in these past few years. So watch this clip. If you think I missed anything or anything I need to revisit, do another video on, leave a comment, and please like, share, and subscribe. Enjoy this little segment of Real Time with Bill Maher. May the Force be with you.